What's up, everybody? It's your boy back with another reaction video. Yeah, we doing the damn thing. I don't know why. It's because it's Halloween, and shit, went down the wrong part. And I just want to take out the trash, and for some reason, because it's been foggy here all day. I'm talking about Silent Hill level fog. Because it started fogging up last night when I went to the store. And I was like, it's getting fog. It started like right drizzling a little bit. And fog started setting. I was like, this isn't ominous at all. And now it's been like a dense fog warning all day. And it's been foggy all day. I mean, it kind of cleared up a little bit, but it was still like a light fog. And now at night it's like you could see it even more. And I was like, I went out there. I took the trash out and some car like came out and was like, and it like you was driving in the road and it slowed up when it started getting to me because I was taking the trash out to the street. And I'm getting ready to like put this damn thing there and then dive behind the dumpster. I don't know what the fuck this or pick this up as people get out trying to grab me and just pick this thing up, just start swinging this big ass garbage bin. And they just drove by. I was like, why do you feel all tense at night? I know it's Halloween, but it's like your mind just plays tricks on you. It's like I'm looking down the road because I forgot to shake the mail, and I'm looking like around me, looking at the door, making sure nobody come in the door behind me and shit. I'm just like, I'm like hyper aware. Even though I've been drinking a little bit, so. But when I drink, it don't make me paranoid. Like I don't get like that. I get more relaxed. Like I know I have friends who get drunk and they want to start fighting and shit, and they see anything if a dude stares at them too long, they see that as a sign of disrespect. Or I have some female friends that do that. They be ready to fight. They're like, what that shit? Look, she looking at. Oh, she bumped into me, and I'm like, oh, why they give me my drink and they didn't put enough alcohol in it. Oh, but anyway, we got another one. Another request from Alpha Shocker. This is from Mandalore Gaming. He just uploaded it a couple days ago. Because I saw your request. And I think it was like, I think when you sent the message and I saw it and I said, well, let me go ahead and try to download it. Right? Because I was going to look at it right then. But then I started getting real tired all of a sudden. Probably because I had just finished working out, to be honest. And I was tired. But it was like I was fine. And all of a sudden it was like, boom, I started just getting tired. But I think this had been up like 50 minutes or something after you had sent me that message or that comment. But this is from Mandalore Game. It's called Ring, a mind melting adventure game. Mind melter. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Knowing Mandalore Gaming, it could be both. It could be like this game is not very good, but it's like a hidden gem or something like that. Like it's things about it that are good. Because when I watch his video, cause I was talking about what was it called? Damn it, Anonymous Agony, and I watched that not that long ago. Just when you're watching it, just for my own entertainment, and like when he talks about things, it makes you, because even when he's criticizing things like, oh, it's not very good, the soundtrack isn't good or whatever, or then he talks about some things that are good about the game. Even if it is heavily, if you're taking mental notes, you're like, like it seems like he's heavily on the negative side of the game. Like this game isn't very good, but the way he talks about it makes you want to buy it and play it. It like Pathologic. Like I bought Pathologic too. Just because I watched a playthrough, well, not playthrough, a review from Mandalorian game. Because I was like, but that game he did praise. Like he was talking. Now I think he did. He criticized, of course. Like nothing is like cut and dry. Nothing is 100% good, 100% bad. Everything has flaws in it somewhere. And I just realized I didn't put lotion on my hands. Let's try. But yeah, I like that. Like it's not like this 100. Because anytime someone says something like this is objectively like the best thing, and they only talking about the positive, I always distrust that. I'm like, and the same thing if someone being overly negative about something, it's like it was nothing that you liked. Like damn, you ain't like like when I watch people review movies sometimes, and you can almost tell. Well, not even almost. You can tell. When people are just they seem like they were just waiting to hate a movie, and it's they just couldn't wait for it to come out and review it, and I was like, damn, nothing wasn't good. Like the cinematography, the makeup, like costumes, like nothing. Like okay, you say the story was bad or dialogue or acting, CGI or practical effects weren't good. You say that, but it's like nothing. This movie is just bad. Then, especially when people say this is the worst movie I've ever seen. I'm like, really? It isn't. Is it the worst movie I've seen? If it is, you haven't seen very many movies. If this is the worst one, like, because like I could name something off the top of my head, it's like straight garbage. Some movies that even the cinematography, like all of it, just horrible. It's like The Room. Like that movie, I watched that movie. The first time I watched that movie was I was over some person's house. I don't know. I don't actually remember who they were off the top of my head because I know it was the first time I had been there. They were like a friend of mine. And everybody drinking and stuff, having a good time. He was like, oh, y'all need to watch this. And then he put on The Room. That was the first time I saw The Room. And then I ended up getting The Room strictly for drinking. Like people drinking at my house and just like, I'll put on The Room because it's hilarious drunk. And I remember I did that, put it on. People like, what is this? And it's one of those things I'm like, but I've seen people like paid to go to screenings of it because the director, was it Tommy Wiseau or whatever, he was there. So you're like, he wasn't ever free. And they paying money to go see like screenings of this. There's no way in hell I would pay money for that. That is no way. Like I've seen it. I get the joke. Oh, the director thought this was serious, and he thought he's making something serious, and it turned out to be hilarious. But there's no way in hell I'm paying for that to go see that especially after I've seen it. Like but yeah, but it's like. But the movie is so bad. It's one of those that's so bad it's good. Like it's not good, but it's just funny. Like it's one of those that you watch and you're intoxicated, or even if you're not intoxicated the first time, just looking at it, you're just like, what is happening? And it's just like you get a good laugh at it. But I would never just sit like now about sit by myself just watch it. One thing because I've already seen it, and I got other better movies that I could use my time watching if that were the case. But anyway, let's get into this because this is like literally a feature film length review, so it's like an hour and a half. Oh, That's one thing is kind of annoying that these things keep flipping. Like I just got these headphones because it's like I'm looking at them like what, and when I got them in the box, let me see what is annoying about it, because every headset or earphones or whatever, I always like, what's annoying about these? Oh, they don't stay in my ear, or they sit on top of my ear, or they get hot real easy, or they make a crackling sound. Like, oh god, man, these fucking things don't work. Or the cord in the long. I was glad I was like, this cord is perfect for right here. I was actually even longer, and I can stretch it with this. But anyway, here we go. I probably won't be talking too much because it's so long. The video is so long.
We have completed Valhalla.
Oh.
Another Halloween, another new adventure game. Though this year is different in that it could be a one-time show. Getting this version made into a cut where the back-end robots didn't yell at it was already an ordeal.
Didn't you say that? I was shocked another Halloween,
Patreon
another
launch
adventure.
page or some third-party website. That's why this video may have vanished or be slightly different than the one on the main channel. It was not a smooth process, and this is more like the Flavor Flav Night Tales of the adventure game videos. So with that answered, what the hell is Ring? Put simply, it's an adaptation of Der Ring des Nibelungen. No Sadako here. It's an opera, though he'd prefer the term musical drama, by Richard Wagner. It's a cozy little production that clocks in at about 15 hours. It's performed over 4 nights so that the audience can actually survive it. If you thought Les Mis was long, welcome to Germany. It is, in every sense of the term, a national epic. So in 1997, a company founded by 2 Slovenian architects decided to make it into a game. It would be published by a French company, Cryo Interactive, and the team included the renowned French artist Philippe Doyen. If you haven't
that takes
heard of
me
him,
back.
he's particularly a legend in comic books. He frequently uses bold, striking colors, and his work is surreal but endlessly detailed. So for giving a fantasy epic like Ring some flavor, he's not a bad choice. Though if you have heard of him, you know he's more famous for his sci-fi art. Well, this adaptation would be a sci-fi one. Ring would take place in the far future.
I was thinking the 40th millennium.
No, pardon me, 40C. The idea was that the story of the Ring cycle is just so timeless it can surely fit into any setting, so there's no need to get into the original for now.
Le pauvre Albrecht, qu'est-ce qu'il veut, c'est être grand. Lui aussi a envie de rouler en Mercedes.
Boy, will he. The game is currently abandonware, and to be able to play and record it, I had to reinstall my operating system. It won't work if certain NVIDIA drivers are installed, or a lot of other mystery things, really. For some reason, the game wasn't supported much, and most reviews I can find of it said it was very, very bad. IGN gave it a 2.7
very,
out of 10,
very bad.
GameSpot was more generous and gave it a 3.7 out of 10.
Oh.
Now these aren't great signs, but they did say the story can stand on its own. I can maybe agree that the game has a story, sort of. Okay, let me start the game.
Sort of.
Oh, we're here.
Yeah, these PC games, I didn't go through this as a kid.
Is supposed to play there, but it doesn't,
PC
so I had to go
games.
hunt it down.
I have been known by many names. Messiah. Emperor.
Dracula.
Thanos. He says he's a god and hero and wants to tell his story. This seems like it should be important, but we'll see how it goes. You're flashbacked into his past to see his adventure, which he tells you is also your adventure.
Because we're the same person.
Come hither, my child. Enter. Become the Earth's child again, Ish.
Ish?
This task is
Ish.
as old as the world itself.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
Depends on the age that we bestow upon the gods.
The great adventure ends up being Ish entombing himself inside of a Mummy Returns prop. In order to save mankind, he must unravel the secrets of the Ring play, because the story is one of mankind's greatest creations.
Really? He looks so confused. He's like, I guess I get in here. I don't really understand, but
Oh,
Get to it.
God.
Yes, Your Majesty.
It can't sound like that the whole game.
Not like that, Drill. Panoramic.
Oh, sorry. I'm a bit rusty.
There-ish. I have returned eye and arm to you. Now you can set off. But do not worry. I shall escort you.
Okay,
What the
now
fuck?
we're all caught up. It is odd that the Eldritch sarcophagus doesn't plug him into the Matrix, but instead just controls an RC claptrap. But you're now free to wander this asteroid space station amphitheater. There are statues you can interact with that give you more information about the characters in the story, but none about the current setting. It is peaceful to explore here, you're just listening to nice Wagner music, and the narration is being done by award-winning actress Charlotte Rampling. They really had set out to make something classy and cultured.
She now has to discover those of freedom.
The fuck? What's with the artillery strikes?
That he was himself wanted as a weapon and the symbol of the new order.
There's no battle I can see. Like, who's being shelled by the...
Yeah, what is that?
To
This
day,
Krypton?
I
What
have
the
not
fuck is
found an
going on?
explanation. It could represent a galactic war, and that's what makes Ish's adventure so important, or something like that. Or it could be like the Citizen Kane parrot that's supposed to shriek you back awake. Except Ring delivers that trick every 45 seconds directly above ground for maximum impact.
The Rhine Maiden's gold was sleeping at the heart of the eternal mists.
This is fine anyways because it's an absolute exposition dump. You get backstories for all kinds of
Her
characters.
voice sounds
because there are
familiar,
4
like
stories
I
to
might
play,
have heard it
you
in
can
another
play them at any
game.
time. So it can't take into account how relevant something will be in that very moment. With that in mind, our first character is Albrecht, or Alberish, or Alberich. The game uses all kinds of names for each character. Sometimes it's the original German names for the Norse characters, sometimes it's just the Norse characters, and sometimes it's a translation from who knows where. So Albrecht is the king of the dwarves, and is spiteful.
But
as
who
you'd
gives a
expect.
fuck?
He's preparing for revenge against the gods, so we'll start with him.
I don't know.
Alright, got the Fisher-Price Myth Selector. Let's go.
There's some sci-fi, Lord of the Rings type shit.
I see you have returned. The mine, the Nibelheim, well, it's not my fault.
He got a lisp.
You must do something. After all, you are the king.
He looked like Uncle Ruckus.
I told them. Yeah, they'll go. Poof.
Have you ever heard someone speaking and the way they say something is so bizarre it just skips over the part of your brain that processes it? Ring has a
Yes.
few examples of those, and somehow this dude isn't the best at it.
Look, Glug,
His face looks weird. He doing.
of my good faith.
He gonna be like, that nigga is guilty.
Your good faith. My dear meme. Fear, repression. These are the words that are music to my ears.
There's so much to unpack already.
Yes.
Why is Glug tribute, and what is Glug? It kind of looks like the Dungeon Keeper cover.
Now, what am I supposed to do with your ludicrous toys?
You
If
look
notice the
very
in-game
stiff.
subtitles
You
being
just.
off or not matching the audio. That's in the game itself. You learn that Glug is for the motorbike.
Yeah, I figured.
And can explore around as Albrecht a bit. There is an item panel like many adventure games, and you have Brutality, Glug, and the Ore. There's not much to
Glug.
do in the Forge yet, but Albrecht can tear Meme's ass apart for daring to own a decoration.
An ornament?
An ornament.
Thinking half dark of your forge? Oh, have you suddenly acquired a taste for beauty? You, a
You
squat,
wanted to talk.
moldy and groveling
That
toad
rusty
in
ass armor you got on. Can't even move in it. How you take a shit?
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to say either. Well, he wants to keep it, and this is where Brutality comes in.
Beat his ass. Oh, he's more mobile than I thought. Oh, he just slapped the shit.
Don't get so angry. You're the king.
Why does he have to have a lisp? Like,
I feel like Albrecht wouldn't be satisfied with this, and the game does too, because you can hit him more.
oh, you just keep.
Ow! Oh, why are you hitting me?
Because I like it, you slimy gutter dwarf. Because it is my good pleasure, you rotten little cabbage. Because it pleases me, you worthless prince of slime.
The Wagner
Oh,
music
you
is
worthless
nice, but
Prince
out of
of
place
Sly.
and looped in a
He
really
just roasted
psychotic
his
way.
ass.
Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate that much on YouTube since there are about 500 different people who want to claim the music as their own. So if things seem disjointed, or a part gets muted, or the video itself disappears, you'll know why. Anyhow,
Yeah, I know
Albrecht
how that
also collects the
goes.
sphere of log, though you might
I
know
feel
him
you
better as
on that.
Loki. It's heated forever and will always evaporate water that touches it, meaning it's effectively a nuclear reactor. Our dwarf king is going to need it for something deeper in the mine. It's not a Mercedes, but it is a motorbike. And you power it with
Love.
not the energy source. Then you remember that this is what Glug was for, though you have to click in the exact magical spot like you'd expect.
You power it with Glug?
Industry's most innovative and feature a particularly fluid and dynamic interactive software engine.
That's interesting. I give him that.
Both visual and emotional.
What the fuck did you just give it? A diamond? What
Throw
was
minerals
that?
for Glug.
Minerals?
He eats them, and that makes the motorbike go. You might be wondering, and no, Glug is not in the original opera, but maybe he should be. Albrecht makes his rounds traveling Nibelheim, which is awkward to navigate. You would think that you would only need to click again when there's a fork in the path and you need to choose a way, but instead you frequently need to click again just to keep going. It is safe to say that Philippe really went to work on the designs. It didn't translate too well to character models in 1998, but the environments definitely still hold up. Though one of the locations you can
Yeah, the
visit
environments
has
do
a
look
space
good.
marine drinking out of a giant straw. But remember, 40C, not 40K. There's nothing to do here yet anyways, so you can get back on your bike, and Glug will need the minerals every time you turn it back on.
What if you don't have the minerals?
On the other side of the kingdom, you can visit Albrecht's control center. He's looking to get production back.
Or are they
in order,
real
and has
easy to
something
get?
nefarious in mind. The motorcycle won't take you directly to his lair. You'll have to ride his Daedric Secret Lab gaming chair to get up into it. This pleases him.
Pum, 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 pum.
You know, that armor would be interesting that he's wearing if it was
It turns
some
out
more
these are
variety.
heavy
It's
as
just
it
all
fits into the
dark.
puzzle. Each panel tells a history of the god Wotan, or Odin. It talks about how he desired to rule the world, and then did so. When you solve that, you can activate the computer, though it's undergoing some technical issues. Albrecht fixes it with his trusty 5-finger solution. The map is now active, and presumably the system's back
Hey,
online. From
that
here, it
works
should be easy
sometimes.
going into the storage room.
Remember the heater in my car didn't stop working one day, and I had to go to work. And I punched
I
that
guess
shit
not.
out of frustration, and it
The
just
first
kicked
time I
back
played
on.
this game, I couldn't actually save it because
Sometimes
it's broken.
violence is
It's
the
not a
answer.
huge deal now, but I still feel something burst in my chest when I see that endgame screen.
Maybe it's
What
a
you need to do
face
is move the
hacker's on
bow
you.
around. That way it won't be aircraft catapulted into the wall. Now that you're not pulverized down into salted pork, you can get your stuff. A few of the vaults next to the big egg are empty, so you'll need to look around carefully. Actually, only one locker has an item, a diving helmet. It's the big egg that contains the anti-gravity gel you need. You don't know what it's for.
What the fuck was
With
that?
done, you can head back up. Just make sure to put the pipe back into place and flood the antechamber on the other side.
Was
of the
that part of the game? Was
This
that
is
a
critical
clip
to the
he
play,
edited in
so
there?
is the meme frog. That was pleasant. Now the magic frog lets Albrecht breathe underwater. Ring makes me wonder, was the audio made for humans?
Interesting.
The actual music and effect sound peaks can get astoundingly high, and there's no way to just turn off the music, which would have made my life much easier. If you don't go directly back to the pipe chamber, you can learn a bit more about why the factory's not working.
Why don't you come on up and see me? We have much need to talk a while with you.
Of course, sir. I'll get into the lift and you can bring me up.
Okay, he's dead.
You have to be careful not to pancake him with the lever, and then the dwarf will explain what's actually happening. The kingdom is shut down and not producing
So that
anything
means
because the dwarves
nothing?
have formed a
Well,
union
why
with
was
no
why did
action.
that happen? If they don't,
Albrecht's about ready
there's
to
no
murder him hearing
consequence.
this, but wants them all to come back to work.
And it just goes to show that work organized on ideals of fairness and mutual effort would appear to be just as productive as your, how can I say this, more kingly methods.
I want you to work for me again.
You do. Oh, I am on
You
it.
do.
However, I
Oh,
do foresee two
I
problems.
do foresee
Firstly,
two problems.
nothing in your kingdom works anymore. And secondly, I don't see
Like,
how it would
like,
benefit
you know I
us.
smack motherfuckers,
In
right?
short, what I mean to say is, let's be honest, not a chance.
I think you're going to change
Smack
your
this
mind.
shit out.
Albrecht's voice acting is fantastic. He's so thrilled to be evil when he has power and just so bitter when he doesn't. But it's his upcoming segment that seals it for me. You equip the diving helmet and go into the chamber you flooded earlier. If you don't click the helmet first, you just die. If you do... there's nowhere to actually swim to.
So you just stuck? What the fuck?
Listen, an ode to the Rhine, and one for Wotan, our father, for having entrusted us with such a delightful mission. Frolicking all day long in the ever-changing waters, and guarding a sacred treasure.
This bitch talking
Treasure
about.
is brilliant, spectacular gold. The gold is so spectacular that it can be forged into a ring that will grant the power to rule the world. It's even beyond that. It'll grant absolute power.
Why is
Don't
it
try to
always
pull them to
3
lure away
women?
Or distract anyone who comes too close, but unfortunately for them, they're dealing with Albrecht.
Poor little fish. You think I find your advances irresistible? No. Go instead and sing your desires to the
I have no penis.
For blowing off each of the Rhine Maidens, Albrecht gets a new key, and then he surfs away.
Oh no, he's what they call a Sigma man.
Elusive as the river, deceptive as a woman. A dwarf I may be, yet I am not fool enough to be caught in your net.
Oh, bitch.
Drink peace, happiness, and oblivion from my breast.
I
Whoa.
have no taste for peace and happiness.
This bitch
For
lactate?
oblivion, my little fishy. You're already history.
Doom.
Fuck off, I hate being happy.
No pussy for me.
Anti-gravity boots let you fly up, but the no-clipping, I have no idea. It's like a playable YouTube boot.
Oh.
After dealing with the fish in the sea, Albrecht must endure the Halls of Torment. They might not actually be called that,
It's
but it's
fucking
what they
weeble
feel.
wobble ass
The
walking
environment can
around.
be really cool in these sections, but the puzzles become nonsense. Not that our standard was high before, but now you grab a fish and put it in another tank, then a dolphin eats it, which is actually another Rhine Maiden, and this leads to playing hot potato with a medallion for multiple sections. One will give you a medallion as a gift, and then you give it back.
All
and
these
they say
bitches
you
trying to
deserve
get
it.
on his dick.
Someone else needs the medallion, so it keeps going all over the place. Sometimes you click water in a
That
fish
bitch, I'm on my
and
hustle.
sometimes you instantly
I ain't
drown.
got time
It's
for
one of those
pussy.
classic adventure game moments where doing the exact same thing gets you
Not
killed.
until I make it.
Do it right and you won't drown or be murdered by the haunted arms.
Okay. Some
There's a lot to get
disembodied
in this
arms
section,
just
but Albrecht's
strangle you.
musings do make it entertaining.
Trust is the weak man's
These people making this had to be in on the joke and how ridiculous this
not
is.
a beggar of human charity. I choose to be rich and warm, a condition which
Warm.
then suits my royal nature.
What's weird is the maidens want him to
Why-
demonstrate all kinds of qualities.
Bitches all
and he
over the
just brush
place.
past them, and then he usually dies. Instead, he performs the good deed. They say why that's good, and then he says it's all bullshit.
Well, on this point I must agree. Sacrifice is indeed a noble thing. In fact, without a moment's regret, I would sacrifice all those who stand in my way.
Albrecht is quickly moving up my list of villains as he gets closer to the gold. There is an option to choose love or virtue or something like that, but it is treated as a game over, which is appropriate.
I'm
for
surprised this is an hour and a half the way he kind it felt like he's speeding through this.
As for the good ending, it sure looks like another one where he drowned. So let them sing to the salmon and the trout and get the gold.
Well, here is the gold, you walking disaster. It wasn't that difficult.
Damn.
Open your ears and gather your few remaining wits about you. You must forge a ring and a crown in
A
accordance
run
with my
ring to
business
rule them all.
The world is mine. The Nibelungans, my slaves.
Nah, you and Glug have to take a final trip to the Astartes chamber. Now Log's tier can be used to power up the factory again.
What you want with the world for? You wouldn't even.
This could go a few
Them
different
chicks
ways.
throwing pussy at you. You didn't even want
I
it.
have learned that desire is a cruel mistress. I've seen a man renounce love for gold,
And why did he so desire this gold?
So Ish gets a little "what was that all about" lesson, and then it becomes the Heaven's Gate manifesto.
At the dawn of the 21st century, the 9 forms of intelligent life in the universe came into contact with each other. This was to be the second great upheaval in human history. Greed very soon held sway over curiosity, and a war like no other began. They fought for power,
World War III.
fortunes, and space, which was nevertheless infinite. Soon the 4 most powerful warmongers formed a deadly alliance. Humans were on the defeated side.
It may surprise you to learn that this intergalactic war and history, it all goes nowhere. This is brain poison. Learning it can only hurt you. This also makes the framing even more nonsensical. If Ish is in the future, you know, it's like a sci-fi setting for us, if he's learning about the ring cycle, shouldn't it be a normal fantasy kind of setting? Like the actual Matrix is in the past, or, you know, a video game. The sci-fi elements have nothing to do with the actual stories being told. They're used for puzzles, but other than that, completely superficial. You could argue they're showing Ish a world more familiar to him, so it's not too alien and he can understand it. I don't think so. At this point, I'm convinced it's a torture device. Did they really think blood was like Microsoft Clippy? No. Does this device look anything but
I don't know
evil?
what the fuck they
No.
thought that was.
They're trying to kill me. Personally. You can follow the general gist of the story for now, the actual opera, but the deep lore, absolutely not. This would be like if I asked you to watch Fellowship of the Ring, asked how you liked it, and then went, oh yeah, it's just like how we're fighting the Greys and Reptilians. And Legolas knows the Earth is flat. That's also true, my son. It makes the whole experience so confusing. All I can do for now is spin the wheel of madness and move on to Log. Laga, Loga, Loki, it doesn't matter. My setup really doesn't like that engine sound, but maybe it runs better on yours.
It doesn't. Sound like someone's starting the engine next to my fucking head.
Alright, so they don't clearly explain what's happening here, but the original story does. These 2 Transformers are the giants Fasolt and Fafnir. They were contracted to build Valhalla for the gods, being offered Votan's sister-in-law Freya as payment. Now that they're done, Votan is getting cold feet about the deal. It's just they're playing the scene.
I don't really want to give you her.
Like nonsense.
Why is everybody? He's like.
Freya with her generous hands, to whom
They
we
T-posing.
return each day in search of our immortality. I cannot abandon her.
I was full of shit. I didn't think you would actually be able to do it. That bitch was promised to us. That bitch belongs to us.
Worthy of music, but this doesn't make the cut. You just hear Starscream and his brother mad about their payment plan.
Is that Starscream? Starstream? Or is it Scream or Stream? I don't remember.
The gold may be our only salvation.
Fuck it.
He sound like I heard that voice saying Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver.
He has been hoarding countless riches in the gloom of Nibelheim.
Your labor has been immense. Your reward
What the fuck is with all these
shall be
like
infinite.
Viking type
I'm not
names?
offering you gold,
Nibelheim.
but rather its inexhaustible source. You must accept this price.
We have learned to mistrust you, Votan. When we see the gold, and if it is as inexhaustible as you say, then we shall return Freya to you.
I hope that these headphones messing up, cause it's like crackling noise when they was talking.
Loga, my loyal advisor, return to Nibelheim. Seize golden ring from the dwarf's filthy hands. Once again, I shall oppose the giants.
What's with this pose?
You go down into the mine and take care of that rat.
This is where hell begins.
Look! Who goes there? The mine is closed, so no visitors
Fuck up his hand. He's like,
allowed down here. No entry.
Like
That's
this.
right, no entry. So don't you come any further. So
what you gonna do besides get bitch slapped?
working on something that is very, very
Furry.
The music loops like this throughout Laga's entire story. It keeps looping and building back on itself to a crescendo that never comes. This talk with Meme goes on forever too. He just wants to see Albrecht. Meme explains that Albrecht has been working everyone to the bone and is now a powerful sorcerer. He's created effigies that make scary things appear, or something like that, and that's how he keeps control.
He's terrifyingly good, you know what I mean? Terrifyingly good!
It's 5 minutes of this, and nearly impossible to retain any of it. Meme mentions there's also a transformation material somewhere that could help you out. We'll see. Now you get to explore Nibelheim again.
Oh.
Albrecht has a lot of different lines for screaming.
Oh, I don't know why that made me laugh so much. Okay. Damn, just roasting his face.
The man takes so much joy in his work. Now you need to hunt down his effigies, and his gaming lair seems like the best place to check.
This person love just they just like just did doing that. So that they constantly thinking about shit. And
you've got to do some puzzle nonsense.
I love that. Just stop. Just end of this part.
Empty,
nice, very seamless transition to the next part.
When that's done, you've got all you need to explore the other side of Nibelheim. It is kind of interesting that Logi surfs around too, but through the air. I'm gonna guess the surfing was saving a lot of animation time. This is where you discover the Volus torture chamber, and what I see when I can't sleep at night. You have to talk to this Gachimuchi Volus, and it is designed to make you crazy. It feels like he can change the activation switch for taking out some politician somewhere. It is a 7-minute tirade about dwarves and
7 minutes.
I don't know. The delivery, the way the music loops over it. Let me give you just a little bit.
I've devoted my life to them. And
I've devoted my life. Like,
to them, I am just a freak. To be
see, to them, you're just a freak. Like me. But you know, these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
even be able to get close to him. The only solution is to kill them all.
Doesn't that just
oh my god, these people had it's high fuck
this
recording this.
Might have been done in one take. I'll leave a link to the full scene if you want to see how long you can last. From what I can make out, he says the dwarves still under Albrecht are a lost cause and deserve genocide. Redirecting that water from earlier could cleanse this place from sin. Since he delivered this information like a crazy man trying to impersonate the master from Fallout single-handedly, I think he deserves to be the first to join the new world.
Oh, my fucking eye. Oh, this bitch got fire powers? Oh shit.
The scene cuts are so abrupt, it's like, it feels like being shocked back to life or something. It doesn't
okay,
matter.
did he kill that person?
My dwarfs! My Nibelungen! He's killed my dwarfs! It can't be! All my dwarfs! All my little dwarfs! Oh, what am I supposed to do now? Mister, I killed everyone and it doesn't stop me from having a blast! What am I going to do without the dwarfs?
What am I gonna do without the dwarfs?
After the Pocket Prince purging, you can confront Albrecht, and it is a doozy. In the original story, Albrecht gets tricked, and here it's something else.
Game of the year.
Well. Wotan has sent me his cherished butt.
Okay.
Let's face facts, mongrel. Yes, Wotan is a god, the god of gods, even. But you see, I'm the dwarf.
He's the king. The king of the dwarfs of dwarfs. The fuck does that even mean? Wait, you only
Imagine
5
how
feet
much
tall?
confidence someone has to have to announce that they're under 5 feet as part of their threat.
Well, under
Loki
5
is here
feet,
under
yeah.
the order of the god of gods, and Albrecht could not give a single fuck. After some
Yeah,
more
he's the
surfing,
god of gods,
Logan
but
finds
I'm
the
the
nature of
dwarf
order
of
and gives an
dwarfs.
entire monologue about his perspective of how things go. Logan's
Yeah, that
performance
means
is
a
also
lot
very
to me,
good, and his cold,
motherfucker.
calculating demeanor is a
You might as well
perfect
say you're an
contrast to
ant.
Albrecht. Albrecht's not too bothered by the threats or even the genocide. Instead, he's the most offended by how long Loga's speech is taking, so he decides to end it in an effigy battle.
I call on the insidious arrow with its coat of lies, the poisonous
The insidious arrow with this coat.
in the world.
To beat him, you have to pick the right monster to battle his. As far as I can tell, the game itself doesn't have any hints, you just have to go with what you think would be the best option. The animation here is neat, and it's a fun but brief sequence. In his defeat, Loga has won the ring. For some reason, the music gets much louder in this section, but Albrecht curses the ring forever. Whoever wears it will only know death and misfortune, and then...
Oh wow, it turned into a frog. Why?
The ring is entombed inside a giant egg, and the giants think it's another trick. Getting it out is an excuse to include more puzzles, including a slide puzzle. Slide puzzles are for children.
I fucking hate side puzzles.
The idea of having to mess a part up to make it work again just doesn't
Oh,
compute.
yeah,
This is my kryptonite. But after entering that and how many days are in a year, you get the ring. Unbelievably, Wotan tries to cross them again on this, until our narrator Charlotte, the voice of the earth, reminds him that it's cursed. Then he gives it to the giants so they can squabble over it. Freya is released from the whack
It's a
crystal
very
prison.
simple name for these people. I thought her name be like Charlita Fayum or some shit. Shit. God damn. Just thousands of
Few
Rockies.
more puzzles on this combined piano. I don't know why. They don't say why you need to, but you have to. This heralds the beginning of a section that many adventure games have, where it just gives up.
I mean, why question now? Maybe you've been playing it this
The story
long.
becomes so gutted that it feels empty even if you do know this story.
When the Four divided the universe between them,
Please no.
they also laid down their laws. The 5 slave races then began paying for the opulence of this new order with their lives.
Okay, I have to ask, who or what was Ring made for? The dialogue and themes seem way
Not a
way too
damn
heavy for kids,
thing.
but there are so many
And
certified
nobody.
Looney Tunes moments too. All while telling a German opera fantasy story in a science fiction skin, with large parts of the story either removed or completely changed to make the game go forward. The budget on display is so high for what this is, but even now, knowing the story of Ring and getting the gist of what is supposed to be happening in scenes, it's still a lot of nonsense. If you don't know the story, it becomes impossible to follow. And don't forget these are stories inside a story, which is even more of a fever dream that's never elaborated on. Playing this without context actually made me feel crazy. In a way, no other
I was
game
actually
does.
losing my
There are
mind.
games that are frustrating or hard or convoluted. This is a Necronomicon that makes sense to somebody. I would love to know what the plan
No,
was.
it doesn't.
Who was the target audience?
People are
It
just
sold
high
over
as
1,000
fuck.
copies, so some adventure game players did pick it up. Anyhow,
Yeah, out of
the
morbid
story is-
curiosity.
And instead of having a long cutscene to set the stage, we just get this. The statue didn't prepare me for this.
The fuck? Robot wolves?
I did not click at that time and wolf
The
sense.
noise.
There's nothing relevant if you could call it that until the end, so what are the highlights? The door to the house is locked, so Sigmund wanders through the woods. There are many shots of Sigmund wandering through the woods. He goes to his house and uses precious metals to forge a tiny man. The tiny man can be used to hand-deliver rat poison to a rat living in the cupboard. I'm only assuming it's a rat. The sound indicates it might not be a rat. I think it's a rat. You cross a bridge to get to worms, but you can only see the worms if you use wolf vision.
Sound like a
And you
rat
can
to
play
me.
the tiny golem man to get those, so you can go fishing because the fish has a key in it. This leads to the ancient temple, beneath which is your secret lair, where you can get the boat out for the double deluxe hidden Viking funeral. And honestly, I'm forgetting the details, but somehow, all of this shit leads to opening the door. I don't have answers. You have a better view of the game than I do.
Whoever you may be, whether fairy, woman, or apparition, do not send me away. I am a tired and weary stranger. I must rest here.
Damn relatable.
This woman and home belong to Hunding, the warrior. But we gladly offer you his
Why don't
hospitality.
you go sleep in the woods somewhere?
Enter and rest, stranger. I will bring you something to drink.
It turns out the mysterious woman has a persona pin just like Sigmund does. She is Siglinda, his long-lost sister, and he is very,
Of course.
very, very happy to see her. One of the many issues of this is that she's already married to Hunding. and
He
is
just
not digging it.
he just randomly comes up. Oh, this is my sister.
Stranger, I can easily recognize in you your errant and wild lineage. You are not welcome in my house.
It's supposed to be dramatic, but Hunding's voice combined with that dialogue sounds like a straight up Xavier Renegade Angel.
Oh, whoa. Domestic abuse? Woman? Stay in a woman's place. Why they keep moving? That sounds weird.
But as an attentive host, I feel it my duty to warn you. Tomorrow, at first light, I shall kill you, whether or not you have.
Well, I don't think I'm gonna stay here.
What Hunding didn't count on was the tiny man slipping him rat poison so you can knock him out and then grab a sword out of the garden. Your reward for
Knock him
this
out
is
with rat
the
poison?
budget cutscene.
The evil curse has taken hold of me. My own wife goes against my will. Sigmund loved the wife. He embraced the sister. Twice he violated the sacred laws of marriage.
In context of the story, Wotan is pissed about his two children hooking up. There's a lot of extra context the game doesn't go into, so I won't either. He doesn't want Sigmund to die, but he has to. So
Well,
he
they're
tells his
royalty.
daughter,
People
"I'll
did
bring
that
you home
royalty all the
to
time.
make sure he dies and not interfere on his behalf, but she knows that he loves him and will try to.
Well, I mean, I don't know about
these
these brother and sister,
What we're
but they
actually
cousins.
seeing, I find a lot more interesting. Was this concept art they made into the cutscene from running out of time and budget? Was the animation team in a bind and Felipe heroically drew these up last second to patch things up? The world may never know, and it's the only cutscene in the game like this. It's also as messy as ever. They're trying to adapt way too much into this Frankenstein of a plot.
Oh, what the fuck?
What have you learned, my
He's
son?
wearing leathers.
He was in love with his own sister.
I know, but that does not seem to me to be a bad thing.
No. I don't want to see Ish get his old man war ideas, and neither should you.
That's not a
Sure,
bad
the art
thing.
depicting the deep lore looks incredible, but like I
Like,
said
okay.
before, it's poison.
Keep it in the
only thing we
family.
saw for sure happen was a real estate deal and incest. You don't get to give me your essay on the real story after seeing that, and then try to tie it into the four it
Oh,
tells
it's getting
Sunny and
warm
Thieves
in here.
and whatever else you saw in your episode that day.
Whole armada of rebels. They called him the Prophet. With his small army, he fought the four on every planet at every available opportunity.
This could never be made today. Not with this budget, not with this many big names behind it. Ring is so fascinating, but so painful. The more I look at it, the less I understand. Brunhilde's story is the last, and while I could get some parts of what we saw,
There's some people who
this
think they
section is
being
based on near
so
nothing and
creative
just
and so
stuff
smart,
happening.
but
Yes,
they
my
not
child.
making really a damn
You have
thing.
returned to the crossroads of worlds. There are few places like this that are shared between all
Oh yeah, I bet there are a
civilizations,
few places like this.
all ages and all beliefs.
I have to throw the ending forward.
The task you are undertaking is an important one.
The task is more surfing while the famous Valkyrie theme plays on loop. Not only is there less story here than Sigmund's section, but the puzzles here are the most moon logic they've ever been. Apparently, the idea was if you ever got stuck, you could return to the main area and start up a new story. So if players just found Ring too digestible, they could play the whole thing non-linearly. Each character's journey would be for more seasoned adventure gamers. I don't think the term seasoned really conveys what that means. Brunhilde's puzzles are for Stage 4 adventure gamers. The kind where you come to a frozen sea, so you use your magic spear to set a bird on fire, which will melt the whole ocean. This causes a mummy to fall into the water, and lets you retrieve
That's
the
all it
plank of wood,
takes.
which of course you can't tell is an object. Then visit Van Darkholm and open the secret compartment to reveal this, and now you need the tiny man. Disassembling him, but then making sure to grid match the form of a human being. This will cause the bird to carry him away, and now you have the feather. It's just going between rooms, clicking at random, and watching Brunhilde hang 10. In the actual story, Brunhilde hid Sieglinde, who's pregnant, and then Wotan imprisons her. She's already hidden Sieglinde off screen. All this does is introduce new, more confusing forms of random shit.
Why, my father? Who are you?
I am your father.
This is a new character called Nemesis, who you kill. He says he has a weapon born of Wotan. Alright.
No.
The puzzles aren't even entertaining in a crazy way.
am your
This is
father.
mundane kind of insanity. The most credit you could give this is that she's sending more souls off to Valhalla, which isn't good, but it's something until things take a turn for the batshit.
Isn't Valhalla like heaven for warriors? Like,
Solve the infinity puzzle to unlock Brunhilde's ending.
Oh, naughty thing. You've been bad again. Naturally,
you've been a bad girl.
For this, I will. It's always my fault. Really, it's just not fair. If you start that again, I'll get a different doll. Ah, there you are. It's good what you've done. You must go and see your
which
father
one of the
now.
developers' kids is
He's
this?
angry at you, you know. But that's unfair too, because deep down, this is all his fault. Nemesis was right.
Ow, Pop.
I destroyed Nemesis.
You're so naive. You did not destroy Nemesis.
Nemesis?
Nemesis.
Nemesis?
Leave that for later.
Nemesis? Is it
Not all
Nemesis?
secrets are for telling. First, go and
Well,
see
that's
your
the
father.
that's the definition of
Go.
secret.
If there are any experts in the ring cycle, please tell me what the fuck is happening.
Raise your head, miserable thing. You are no longer my daughter. I exclude you from the immortal lineage forever. And forever shall you be banished from my sight.
So we should be mortal now? or
Wait,
something?
if that's the main area and Ish is back there, what's happening? I thought he was observing the story, but now he's right there. Did they have to use this area for some technical reason, or is this part of the story? Well, whatever the case, this is the part we were supposed to see much earlier. Wotan imprisons her asleep in a treacherous area that only a worthy hero can get to. That whole level was
This bitch
completely
did some
pointless.
fucking
What have you learned?
Cinderella
You
type
learn the
shit.
Earth was destroyed and that
I
human
mean, not
memories are
Cinderella.
code for
Sleeping
entertainment by
Beauty.
alien masters. The story of the ring is engraved into our DNA. It's sort of like the Animus, except instead of a person's memories, you can just watch the entire Nutcracker. The point of all of this is then revealed.
The Four have just discovered an enemy and they need you to combat him.
But I'm not a warrior.
That is not
I'm a
what they're
punk
looking
bitch.
for. The greatest of strategists would be useless to them in the face of the threat that is fast approaching.
So, what do they want of me?
They wish to restore a god to the universe, to lead their people into a battle with all the fury and determination which only faith can ignite in man. Although this god is not a phantom, he exists. Or should I say, he will exist. For you see, Ish, this god will be you.
Okay. Your final item is receiving death. Thank you, Wotan. You won't regret it.
Oh, this game.
As if from a dream. Did I regret waking?
Yes.
Or was I happy to see the dream end and a better day begin?
What are you, Conan? Just remember Conan would start with Arnold Schwarzenegger on the throne. And it's like, now I'm going to tell the story of
I feel the same
Conan the
way.
Barbarian.
I feel like I saw something I shouldn't have. However, Ring was a 4-part opera, and this only very loosely covered the first 2 parts. So all they can do is just reflect on Ish being God.
I knew that the adventure would not stop
You
here.
got damn Soul Reaver right there.
But I was enjoying this unexpected moment of respite. With my eyes lost in the stars, and all my thoughts directed towards this dream of a warrior woman, imprisoned by the flames.
How funny you are. You play and you think that all is well, that it does not really concern you. But in the end, you will all be...
In the end, there can be only one.
Incomprehensible. Thank you. Is the girl on the TV the extra galactic threat and she can intrude into
At the
story
end of the
somehow?
game?
Now my headcanon is they tried to show Ring to Ish, and then this thing came and infiltrated it and just made it crazy to try and sabotage their new god. It's an actual crazy chamber. Even if you could perfectly follow the story, there's not a lot to come to Ring for. There are some cool environment designs and a few great character moments, but those are so far and few between the crazy. Most of the puzzles are deranged and without much context to make them really worth doing. And we're done with our best character far too early on. The game is currently not sold anywhere and hard to run and hard to find. It's not worth
Oh,
it.
it's not sold
hell,
anywhere.
it's
I
not
wonder
even a
why.
full story. That wouldn't be done until Ring 2. Ring got bad scores.
Ring 2,
2's
Electric
were even
Boogaloo.
worse. People who are mixed or even liked Ring hated it. Does the box spray corrosive acid on you or something? I tried a lot over the years. A friend sent a physical copy, but I can never get it to work, and that's fine because some mysteries are better left unsolved. Oh god. It works now. And I might not be able to get it working ever again.
Now you gotta play
I
it.
gutted my PC to play and record this, and I'm not going to do it again. I don't want to read comments or get emails about coming back to Ring 2. It has to be over. So to hell with it. Let's complete the cycle and
Just
find out
destroy
why
my computer just to satisfy you bastards.
This is the first time I've seen him on the deck.
Are they just in space? What the
Ish,
fuck?
do you think the warrior's already tired of his female prisoner?
Hold your tongue. Do you not know who this man
Why
is?
should I be a female prisoner?
Of King Gunter, but I do not know his name.
Ish, you who know better than I, tell him who our hero is that we are bringing back to the fortress of our overlord, and say also who it is he went to find and why she is being kept in chains.
This warrior, friends, is Siegfried, and the sword he carries by his side is Northun, whose blade was forged by Wotan in Valhalla.
His nightmare.
But today, he is leading his beloved to her damned marriage as her page boy. Yet he does not know it. Poor man.
So Ring 2 is supposed to continue part 3 of the cycle, but starts with the
Why are
flash
they
forward
just
of
in
part
space?
4, and now Ish is just in the story. I didn't think Wagner could have a basement order, but that's the future we live in. The sound has gotten worse.
The air! The air! Oh, does he think the metal will melt alone?
Meme is back with a new voice, which makes him way more tolerable to listen to. But there's
Yeah,
still
he don't have that
I
lisp.
can't even see my mouse pointer. It could be a graphical issue, which wouldn't surprise me, but I think I could... Oh my god, you're a person now? This is a big departure from the point and click we had before. How the screen is framed isn't great though, so let me fix that. You'll miss the item window, but that's not worth it. Now that we can all see, what the hell am I? I'm a child in what appears to be a deep-sea mechanical gimp suit. It's like Rapture's Big Daddy prototype, the little boy. It looks like it's a permanent donut to posture. It looks like your life is now spent doing tasks for me. I'm not sure if Albrecht knows about him being a slave yet, but I bet
Wait, you don't have to do this. Slap the shit out of them anymore?
An easy click drag, but it is
Well, this
not.
game is
The detection port is
instantly
horrible.
lose
It
5
doesn't try to
points for
wrestle
that.
over anything. After some musical forging where you strike the hammer after the note and not on it, the child causes a fire.
Oh, fire! Fire! Oh, I knew it. Why did the gentle dwarf waste his time looking after him all these years? Why? Oh, well then...
I thought he was about to say, oh, fuck. He said, oh, fire.
He should take the water carrier near the pond. And quickly!
The sound in Ring was never great, but this feels so much like a void. There are barely any layers to the effects. I do prefer this over playing a point-and-click game. For now. The sound design is fantastic. Glad to see Ring come back to life. That suit is like the exact opposite.
Yeah, it's definitely come back to life.
The ceiling. He must go out and take a trunk back from outside, close to the stumps. Quick!
Well, at least the music is pleasant, and it does seem to loop a lot more smoothly. Ring 2 never has a literal torture chamber like the first game did. It's still pretty unique visually, except Ring 2 came out in 2003. That's 5 years after the original, and 3D graphics
Who
were
thought
advancing
that this
quite
needed a
then.
sequel?
And man, they are really pulling back the camera. I guess because it's an open space, but Jesus Christ, are they going to open Google Earth next? You could argue that Ring was very tunneled in and claustrophobic, and this is trying to make things more obvious, but you might want to save that thought. Without a doubt, they desperately want the story to be more understood, as the menu now has spark notes. There's also no mention of the Galactic War, or the Four, so someone may have noticed that was completely insane and scrapped it entirely. But Ish is still around, just placed into the story as a narrator instead of Charlotte Rampling, who probably had much better things to do. It's clear Philippe is still on board, and he's done production design for actual performances of Ring. It could be he's just a huge fan, and his concept art for Ring 1 looks awesome, though they did chicken out not giving Albrecht that codpiece. Regardless if you own any concept art or sketches from either of the games, they're very valuable. It's rare for any game to have zero redeeming qualities.
It's like people who had a lot of good ideas and then actually making the game, they just, the technology wasn't there or the budget wasn't there. You like that wild boy from Road Warrior.
Welcome to Ring 2. That's our title drop. Confused? Read the spark notes. This is a terrible way to tell a story.
That shit.
Let's see how we do without it. I'm sure it'll be just fine. I'm now a babe in the woods, but a different kind of babe went up that tree.
Are you naked?
That should be a good starting point.
Oh, no, okay.
Child, my child, come and show me how strong and handsome you are.
Oh, yeah, I'll show you, baby.
I don't want to go up the tree anymore.
Why not? She wants you to come with her.
Do I frighten you?
Yeah, I think he do wish to
I
come.
am close by, as I've always been. Come.
Ring 2 is taking a very weird, very French turn. I can't see her anyways because I don't have the tools to climb up. The method to do so is scattered around this huge field, and Ring 2 has a new nasty surprise. You can only hold one item at a time. That means if I need to combine it with another item, I'll need to physically go there and do it right there. Otherwise, you'll pick up the new item and leave the old one. This has disaster written all over it, especially with how big this area is.
Stupid.
Thankfully, sometimes the items do have a shine on them, which is something, but it means having the wrong item for a puzzle sends you trekking around again. For this one, you need to free a bowl, so you can pull apart some branches and reveal your prize. Even with the one item restriction, this is decent. I cut out the bowl, tied the rope to a hook, put that on the bowl, lured it over with a flower. I understood what I did and felt kind of satisfied getting the dagger, instead of feeling pure despair wondering what I was witnessing. These moments were so rare in the first game, and it's a good sign.
The fuck?
Oh, fuck.
You? Who are you to dare to rob the dead? And with me, you would take that risk?
We were so close. It was so easy. Oh well, let's see what this trusty lady has.
Come closer. Do not be
She's
afraid.
evil.
Yes, like that. Good. Tell me, do you remember me? My face? My gaze? The beating of my heart?
My bitch, I don't know who you
Does
are.
none of this evoke the slightest memory? The dwarf had promised
Hey,
to
Pet Thanos, I don't even know who you are.
but he chose to teach you the most perfect ignorance. In your
Perfect
soul,
ignorance.
I can tell that he kept everything from you, even your name.
A name? Only mine has a name. Nothing else in the world exists but him.
Oh, now he's mime. He was meme in Ring, so I'm gonna keep that. I'm fairly sure it's supposed to be Mima, but my brain is so rotted from these games, I'll never remember the names correctly ever again. Who am I going to talk about Nibelheim to in real life? Who cares? Knowledge of these games is not something I take pride in. This is a curse.
Look,
I don't
here
like
is the
knowing
border.
stuff about this game.
Decide to cross it, and you will lose your certainty.
Oh, he like a little
That I
boy.
promise
Or his
I
Super
can see pain
Saiyan 3
and
hair.
anguish.
Except it's not blonde.
It's a redesign, but clearly Sieglinde. She says he must go out into the world and learn the truth, or forever be trapped in Plato's meme cave. The child is Siegfried, and the entire game only follows him. So instead of bouncing around, we'll have something more consistent and straightforward. Let's cross the border into the real world.
This way you become a man. Or you just fall.
Or maybe just die. Ring 2 has introduced some platforming. It's one of the most pathetic jumps I've seen in a game. It's not even a jump really, it's more like a frolic. I didn't know you could condense frolicking into a single unit, but there it is. After frolicking over the gap, now you can go into the real world.
You just
There's
die.
some cam footage of Siegfried, and now we're in the world.
That was stupid.
The world is a scary place.
Oh, you gotta go here, but we gonna have you do a stupid jump. Did he get killed by a rattlesnake?
The first of Siegfried's trials is getting past the spider, which is easy if you take it slow. After that, you find a strange altar, which is going to need some objects. This is where things get trickier.
Here, Log, god of trickery awaits you. If you know the virtues of vigilance, walk confidently towards him. He gives his gifts to those who know how to listen to the signs.
Oh, you die instantly.
The sign is listening to the calling of crows. A certain sound indicates the fire in the tunnel will stop for a moment, and once you figure it out, it's pretty straightforward, though it still takes a while. We see a statue of our old friend Log, and grab his bowl. First item down fairly painlessly, but it doesn't go on the altar, it just makes a new triangle. So it should form the same symbol on the dagger. One more to go. This one is far down a path among a bunch of lava pools. It's worth the jog though, because you end up getting fucking Mjolnir. This is good timing too, because now the way back is filled with demons. You can't use the item on them, there's no way to fight them, and I looked in the manual and there is an attack button, but it doesn't do
What the
anything.
fuck was getting
All you can
Mjolnir
do
if you
is
can't
stand
fight
there and
him?
die. So I loaded up an old save, and now I can rotate. Restarting the game, now I can rotate and aim and throw it. Which I thought would be it, but playing it again for this video, you're locked in place, and just use the attack button, and always hit the demons. This section is bugged to hell with 1L and back, but I successfully got rid of Mjolnir. I'm not sure about that.
Wotan, the protector and guide of those for whom even the sun and moon does not obscure the stars in the sky.
Why does it look so stupid?
Oh Christ, is that the city from Scorn? Well, no, because it looks too mechanical, but it's way more horrific for me because it has a slide puzzle. I hate slide puzzles so much.
I'm right there
This
with you.
leads to the Cavern of Alchemy, or something like that. It involves putting elements in a device and speeding up or slowing down the flow of time to age them. This also sounds like it should be awful, but it's also not too bad. There are straightforward instructions, you just have to be careful advancing the sands of time. As the materials age, Siegfried does too, and if you don't stop the sands from falling, then he will as well.
Oh shit. He just died of old
When you
age?
get a diamond, something happens. I even brought this up again. It doesn't help. You're back to child form and discover a giant air conditioner. Or maybe a big vent. Who knows?
You couldn't stay as an adult and go fuck over with your go girl?
You have crossed the worlds of the gods, giants, and dwarves. Now that you face the world of men, decide whether you will be a hero or a slave there.
That bitch just,
This kid just keeps getting decked by fireballs.
just randomly just shoot you with a fireball.
You are nothing but a meal for rats.
The secret to this one is to throw rocks into the AC so that the wind comes up and will deflect away his fireballs. You have to time it just before his attack is finished charging, or else you're going to get decked again. The wind won't last forever, but each time you thermostat parry him, your status in the world will go up.
Slave. Such will be your rank among men, and they will leave you the same scraps as they give their dogs. Your days will be grey and your wife ugly, but you
Is
shall
he
live
married?
without begging.
You have to do this 6 times. If
Oh.
you screw up, you go back. Is this a boss
Wow.
fight? I can't
That
tell. I don't think the story would
sucks.
take me to fighting a stand user with an air conditioner.
Ooh,
but here
that
we are.
sucks.
Anyways, you grind your way from being a slave to the king.
I
of your
can see. I can't see going back. Cause you get hit or something. It's
Alright.
like, yeah, we go back. You gotta start all over again.
Finally, we're at the Cave of Crushing Pillars and Depressed Mystical Trees.
Your sharp blade. Why use it to destroy my last refuge? My life was nothing but a dull labor. Have I not deserved the gentle torpor of the forgotten?
I killed in the shadows for a bronze coin, a leather belt, or a piece of bread.
Why has my tomb been lacerated? Did I not obey my destiny by being a faithful and subservient woman?
Boy, those thumping of the pillars are really adding a lot to this. If you've never lived in an apartment, this is what it's like to watch anything. Luckily, it's not too hard to cross it, and really, it's kind of weird how easy it is to get across.
My God.
That's it.
Oh, this is a game.
Ah, there it is. But I still have the dagger, which does not count as an item.
A warrior. It is a warrior holding a weapon bearing the sign of Wotan.
A warrior? Is he fucking Scottish, Irish, or some shit? A warrior.
In Valhalla, fortress
In Valhalla.
where fearless warriors die.
That's enough of that. These waters finally morphed Siegfried out of being a child.
Yeah, I was
he has
like,
now digivolved into an
that-
awful fusion of Kratos and Caillou.
That shit look good.
Do not fear me, creature.
Do not fear me.
I could have broken your neck if I wanted to.
I could have killed you whenever I feel like it.
Legate lineage
Oh yeah, I
shows
feel
up
much
as
better
a
since you
warrior.
just said I
Who
could have
knows
broken
he's
your
going
neck
Siegfried
if I
when the
wanted to.
child returns, he will surely kill me. This goes on longer than it needs to, but you could say the same about the actual play.
He shall know fear no longer. He shall know fear no longer. And he shall kill me. He shall know fear no longer. Fear no longer.
I think he'll fear no longer.
Sheesh.
Back with Siegfried, a Panzer Bjorn is being harassed by several undead warriors. If you want to know how far off the range we are, finding a bear is one of the first things that happens in the actual story. There is a Looney Tunes rock up here to knock over, so that makes it simple.
What does that do?
Oh,
it just kills it instantly. Oh boy. Hey, you instantly died.
The key is to adjust the stick, which can't go too far to the left, but it'll work. This leaves a single skeleton, which the bear still can't take on his own. If you're too slow, the bear will die, but if you go in and try to fight it yourself, the skeleton will murder you. The answer here is to lure it into the ancient, powerful, big magnet.
Neither. Ooh, you taste good. You just bite your
Man, this is
fucking head off.
Weird. I'm just realizing that.
Oh,
You have crossed the lands of gods,
I'm here to watch you two have sex. I must watch to make sure that you procreate appropriately.
Now you can make the inheritance of your
Now you can fertilize my eggs.
the sword I broke on Wotan's spear and forge it again. With
I'm sorry.
you will become unrivaled among men, and you will herald a new age.
That bear, what the fuck is this bitch talking about?
Plant their banners in the firmaments of the gods.
We, your parents, Sigmund and Sieglinde, have named you Siegfried. Like us, you belong
No, they
to
your
the land
parents.
of the
Oh,
Valkyrie.
this is mom.
So
Okay, never
Sigmund
mind.
has gone through one hell of a redesign too. Not to mention we saw him die. Both his parents died. Sieglinde just died giving birth off screen and everyone talks about them like they're dead. But because things are such a mess, they're now exposition ghosts. Go get the sword from me, you little weirdo.
I didn't know that was his mother and his
This is
father.
how a human knocks.
No, he must leave. Mine can do nothing more for him. Nothing more. Nothing more. Nothing more.
Okay, Mr. Mean. Meet Bear.
But you don't stop beating on my goddamn door.
Now we're in. You have to hunt around for the little dude.
Was he
because
doing the
bear is
backpack
his door alarmed
dance?
him, but he
The
doesn't have many
floss?
places to hide.
He's strangling his good companion, strangling him. Is this his reward for the care he's lavished on him? Washing the swaddling clothes of all three of them, beds hewn from fresh granite and mud soup with its fleshy tadpoles. Is he not grateful for all that to mime? His father and his mother at once.
Enough, stupid dwarf.
He says he doesn't know anything about the sword.
That was rough. Just beat his ass.
Enough. He will speak. Oh, please stop the pain.
He still doesn't.
He will tell everything.
Meme claims he chucked the sword out in the woods. So Siegfried forces him to take him there, but for some reason leaves the bear behind. These games are full of bad calls.
This way! But Mime cannot really remember any longer. Oh. In any case, he does not want to go any further. Oh no, he will not go
Because
any
it's a goddamn trap, that's why he didn't want to go any further.
It's still not clear what any of this will accomplish. Where on earth is all of this going? Well, time to find the sword. It turns out the trees are electrifying, so I need to keep my distance here.
What the fuck are these goddamn
Looking around, the spider's
jellyfish?
Their venom can be exploited. That solves the tree problem. I'm not sure what that was about, but it did the trick. Now you can crawl through and get... Oh my god, I don't know what I did. It may have just spit me out at the wrong angle, so this might do it.
Oh, it didn't though.
What the fuck even happened that time? And when you look at that, it was a bug after all. Now that I'm clear of the
Oh, it was a
trees,
bug, wow.
lure the spider over, it dives to the tree, and now you can finally cross. For some reason, I'm thinking about
This
that
game
death
is
screen a
such
lot.
ass.
Is that one of the most dramatic game over screens in a video game? I'm just thankful it's relatively brief and not something like too human. There's a bridge in your way that gets weirdly larger.
Oh yeah, when that Valkyrie come pick you up and take your soul to Valhalla. That fucking that game is so stupid.
Nobody knows what they're talking about. At least the door just opens without a slide puzzle. Okay, wait for the spider to pass. Who would think there would be a sneaking section? Ring 2 really has it all, huh? Were they just throwing everything at the
Yeah,
wall
I
to see
definitely
what-
went. Oh,
fuck. After many trials, I get past the spider and see what's happening. But it almost caught up with me.
damn, this spider was coming back for your ass, boy.
So, dwarf, will you tell me about this treasure?
Oh, thank God it's Albrecht. Finally, a good character. We've been lacking the bite and power he brings, and I'm so relieved for more one-liners.
It is Albrecht, king of the dwarves, whom you are addressing. Release me, or my
King
people
of
will
the
avenge me,
dwarves.
and your filthy beasts will die of
Kill
indigestion,
him.
eating the remains of your bloated and ugly
Kill him.
What? No. What happened?
Kill
They
him.
recast him? I mean, the original voice actor had a lot going on in this period, but this is devastating. The Giant's talking about his track
Damn, he
record,
did all
like,
that?
We know, but he's just not matching up to it. Besides the change in voice, his own zoning sucks too.
It was easy.
He probably looked at it that this was actually harming
Albrecht or
his
Albrecht.
resume.
This is Alba Poor. The Giant wants the gold, but as we know, he no longer has it.
No, for pity's sake, I know nothing more, I swear. Have mercy on Albrecht, king of the dwarfs, deceiver of the Rhine harlots. I shall be your jester.
Rhine harlots.
I will make you laugh. I will serve you, but mercy, mercy.
And what has desire given me so
Yeah, the
far?
voice was better in the
Merely
first
mockery,
one.
scorn, and a bitter taste in my mouth. I thus take my leave, light-hearted, abandoning desire to fools, so that I can pursue higher ambitions.
Oh wow, yeah, that voice is horrible compared
Was
to
this a
his.
Darkseid 2 situation? I feel like there's a story here. Regardless, Albrecht cries so hard that the spider no longer wants to eat him because his body is covered in salt. Is this the main reason why Ring 1
What?
fans hated Ring 2? Honestly, that is so justified. The Giant leaves, and now you're free to explore.
The salt gives it flavor.
Hey, you!
Wow.
I don't know what you are doing here, but I implore you, save me from the terrible fate that awaits me. I am the king of the dwarves. If you free me, I can do many things for you. No, I can do everything for you.
Siegfried only
I
cares
can
about
suck
the
your
sword
dick.
which the fake Albrecht has seen. If Siegfried gets the key and frees him from his cage, he'll tell him where it is. Navigating around the cliff down is bizarrely perilous. You can just fall through the ground and die if the game decides it. Albrecht did accidentally and pathetically stumble upon a spider defense. If you crawl up into a storage bin, you can cover yourself in salt. It's also worth mentioning even older Siegfried still has the frolic. I guess I've been feeling covered in salt this whole time, huh? Well, after that it gets trickier, like some ladders that you can't actually climb because they bug out sometimes, so I had to restart the game again. I wandered this room for far too long and finally
That
picked the
fucking
phone
game
thing
over
and
the
see what I did wrong.
street is so
These games will never stop surprising me.
Tell me where the sword is.
You fuck.
Near the table. In there. Now put the key in the lock and turn it.
Unfortunately, the giant.
You know how, keys and locks work?
Talk his way out.
You have convinced me. I shall tell you how you can seize the gold I took from the Rhine.
You damn right I convinced you I'm gonna kill your ass.
But I am brave.
Oh, I'm brave.
Magnificent.
I am magnificent.
You will have to be superb.
But I am super.
Alright, come on. The
Are
dwarf
you?
convinces the giant that the gold was so bright he had to practice staring at the sun in order to endure it. This easily convinces him to try. Love me gold? Simple as.
If you did it, then so can I, and I shall do it better.
No, you cannot do it.
Yes, I can.
Oh, really? Then show me. Stand by the window and look at the sun as long as you can without closing your eyes. And be careful, I will
You
be watching
fucking
you.
idiot.
This gets dark.
It doesn't hurt. Think of the gold. Think of the gold.
The sky is darkening, dwarf. Clouds are gathering.
It does not matter. Keep going.
The giant might end up needing a seeing eye spider. I can't imagine how the real Albrecht would have handled this part, but I would have loved to see it. Once he's blind, it's easy to get the sword, free the dwarf, and get out.
Albrecht! Albrecht! A curse on your filthy race! Albrecht! Come back!
Nobody's hurting me. Nobody's telling me to stare at the sun.
You do your work and reforge my father's sword for me.
It cannot do it.
What are you trying to break his neck?
Yeah, fine, I'll do it.
This is like, you will reforge my father's sword for me. He's just gonna just choke it. Yes. Now I'm even more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Caillou's going to the zoo whenever he wants now.
The
He
Thundercat
demands to find a
sword.
worthy opponent he can slay to become a hero. Meme directs him towards Fafnir, who still has the ring. You remember Fafnir, right?
Oh, that was fun.
Well, Fafnir is now a dragon, and his lair looks fucking awesome. Why is he a dragon now? It helps him guard the ring better. Actually, since
Oh,
I
he could
mentioned
just
Lord of the Rings
transform
earlier,
into a
you might be
dragon?
wondering if this actually inspired any of Tolkien's work. He has answered this.
Oh, yeah, I
directly,
remember
saying,
this
Both
game.
rings were round, and there the resemblance ceased. It's a neat lair, and actually knowing where things are building up to is a great improvement. Though this has come at a great loss because now Siegfried's death scream is gone. It also has one of the most needlessly long booby traps, with the least satisfying payoff I've seen in a game. You cross the don't break the ice tiles, then have to walk all the way back and wait for this spike wall to cross.
Wow. This is a horrible game mechanic.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what this is horrible. Who thought of this? And thought this is, oh yeah, didn't know this works.
This genuinely feels like a bit.
It's, apparently it's not.
That's the sound it makes.
Some old school Tomb
There
Raider
is an
type
altar with a
shit.
slot for a shield in the cave, not to actually fight the dragon with, but to reflect light into his eyes to wake him up. I wouldn't call it a dragon, but it is a cool design. And unlike some of the other overhauls, it actually calls back to how he looked in Ring 1. It's a fun detail.
Human smell. Smells. I sense that you are curious and desire
gold. Not the gold. You are looking for something else.
It all built up to this.
Wow, good thing he
There's
fell.
no music. There are barely any sound effects at all. I did look it up. It's not bugged. This is how it is.
Wow, you that big and that one stab killed you. You a fucking pansy.
I can reveal my secret.
The secret is he has the ring. Siegfried has done it. He levels up. He does get the ring, but that was one of the worst dragon slayings I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Outside, a talking bird warns Siegfried about the ring.
Fuck
It
was
knows
that?
about him because it's seen his life weaved by the Norns. Norns are the Norse version of the Fate Weavers. You've seen these before. What's more pressing is me coming with Detective Halligan's own brand.
Before you leave, will you share the sacred mead with mine? Will you at least show gratitude for all the care he has lavished on you?
That's not weird editing. It does play the sip sound before he actually sips it.
You just kill him? Oh my god.
We've been seeing the Norns the whole time.
Fuck this
Right?
game.
So what you should do is not
Oh
take the drink.
my god.
Oh, I should have killed him when he was still floating in his mother's entrails.
Oh, kill this dude. No. You tried to poison me, bitch.
Oh, right. Ish.
Siegfried set off in search.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this dude too.
That mysterious place
Thanos' stepbrother.
A marvelous treasure awaited there, more rare and more intoxicating than gold. Brunhilde, the Valkyrie,
Brunhilde?
beloved daughter of Wotan, the god whose authority she once ignored and whose decree she disobeyed.
It's a stealth section, and the camera has never been farther. There is a bit of music punishment here, since one part is way louder and more distorted than anything else. It'll sneak up on you as it loops. It is some jank moving through these screens, and the perspective is all over the place. You auto-crouch behind certain objects, but you're not actually hidden in most of them. If you do get caught, you'll draw a sword like you can fight, but you know how this goes.
Dun-dun-dun.
It's an odd little section because you don't sneak for too long. When you do use your sword, it's
Oh, this
straight into
game
your
is so
storehouse and grab a
stupid.
bomb. It's the day of reckoning.
I'm
for the
sorry. Oh, I thought I was about to play that Matrix music.
With the fence down, you can go deep into their city and penetrate the dungeon holding Brunhilde. This part requires the fastest reflexes in the game, but it's more jank than difficult.
We're 100% black.
Me too.
Frolic through the traps. and one
You
step closer to Brunhilde.
100%
I've gotta say,
black?
the speed of events is really
Me
picking up
too.
pace now. If you hadn't guessed it by now, this dude is Wotan in a dramatically different redesign. I mean, if you know who Odin is, you can actually recognize him now compared to before. Here, he wants to regale Siegfried with the tale of Brunhilde.
I mean, he does look more like
I
Odin.
would rather not relive that, so time for a new
Oh,
incredible
like
fight
you know what you would think Odin would look like. Oh, let's fight.
What is going through his mind? More importantly, what music was supposed to play here? This and Fafner's had to have
What
had
is
planned,
going
but
through
what
his
happened?
mind?
Again, the world may never know. It's also not clear how to free Brunhilde from this Giger torture coffin. If you do something incorrectly, the death timer starts, and then there are some clues scattered around the room. Large
game
statues
over
with
screen
numbers
is so
and runic
annoying.
symbols. These are genuine runes too, so they correspond to actual numbers. There are a bunch of these, and I started jotting them down on a notepad to keep track. My theory was, in the manual, there would be a key for the runes and their numbers, and this was some kind of disk protection. Figure out all the numbers in the statues, and they will somehow correspond to the numbers on Brunhilde. After spending too much time trying to figure out what this could mean, it's the Fibonacci sequence, which in this case is a fancy way of saying start with the little numbers and work your way up. God damn it.
Now you can kiss her and shit. I did not think to actually kiss her. I did not think that was a thing. I thought she was gonna wake up when he got all the stabbing things out of her. Okay,
She's
moaning
also
and
not
shit.
monstrous anymore, and the pig people love that.
She's a
This looks like it could and should be the end, but there's still a bit to go. They cut away from this scene for this.
Wow, that should have been the end.
That a proud lineage has established its domain here. But what deed has the master of this place ever performed to deserve this gold and these flags that he shamelessly puts on display?
How dare you? Leave, Hagen. I know who you are, Valsong. But your glorious past does not
Well,
allow
you know I have a sword. I could just stab
We
you.
foresaw your visit a long time ago. We raised our flags to honor your arrival.
All this pomp and circumstance is a veil to cover your fear in my presence.
We are now
Because you
completely
know
off the range.
that I can kill
All of
you
Ring
in
2
a
so
second.
far has been a loose Zyprexa adaptation of Part 3 of the play, aptly called Siegfried. The final part is called Twilight of the Gods, like the game. They are trying to put the entire final part and large parts of Part 3 into the last 15 minutes of the game. The lack of music and some cutscenes already made it clear that time was running short, but this is a real rush job. Trying to give any context to this is absolutely meaningless. My biggest question had been who is Ring for, but that is dwarfed by who is Ring 2 for? It's coming out 5 years after the original game and not really completing the story. It's limping over to a ending and throwing elements in at random. Maybe they thought it could still sell as well as Ring 1 somehow? I don't know. Well, the king says you should find
Yeah,
Tears
I
of
bet
True
they were
Loss,
hoping.
Object of True Love, and a piece of Norn thread. If he covers himself in this elixir, Charlotte Rampling will return and reveal everything to him. But it's all a trick because when he fails, everyone in the court will get something they want. To find Tears of True Loss, Siegfried sets out to find the Rhine Maidens.
And the gold! The Rhine gold!
Oh, I was gonna say that's another fucking game over screen. With these chicks, they
You
like
get
want to
tears
have
from
sex.
one
Oh
maiden,
my
but it won't
god.
be so simple because you need more tears. They're in great pain because they were rejected by Albrecht and lost the gold. While one sister wallows in sorrow, the other isn't going to take it.
Find Albrecht and deliver him to my angry justice.
Well, Siegfried hasn't been to Nibelheim yet, but hopefully Glug won't be there.
Ring,
Oh.
Ring, beautiful Ring. It is me, Albrecht. Don't you remember? It is I who snatched you from the icy depths and the watch of the fish woman. I who brought you into the gaze of the creatures of the earth. Ring, Ring, show yourself.
Wait,
I know
they
you
talking
are
about
there.
taking this dude
Do not
down?
be afraid. Come
I guess
to
you should have
Albrecht,
accepted that pussy.
King of dwarfs. Ah!
He's a round little man, but he moves like a panther.
Damn.
He's come all the way back to the dragon's lair, and every time you get close to the little weirdo, he's already gone. You'll never catch him normally this way, so instead, you have to cut off his escape and catch him from the other side.
I recognize you. Leave me alone. Let me go.
Nah, I need to take you over here. Oh, he carry him over there? He knock him out? Oh.
Whether he's dead or not is ambiguous. You get more tears, and man, the editing is becoming breakneck. Like, if you thought that was abrupt, check this out.
She would have put it in his mouth or some shit.
Now wants you to find a piece of the Norn's thread.
There's the Norns, there's the Fates, you're just... Here we are. They cannot wait for this to be over, but have put the worst puzzle yet as the final obstacle. It is a time-morphing tightrope walk.
Oh my god.
I'm so glad to finally be here. The thing is, on paper, this shouldn't be that bad. Each color on the strip represents time going forward or backwards or staying still. The issue is, Ring 2 already has atrocious movement and collision detection, and I've already fallen through surfaces randomly, so the chance of that happening here is already a lot higher. Except here, when you change age, the game generates a new model which it can't place directly on top of where you were, and will often just throw you off into fucking space. Sometimes your model won't change, you just get the smoke and get chucked off into the void. To make it worse, every time you return, you get a narration of the king explaining how it works.
Valsong. Erda now wants you to find a piece.
What the fuck happened there? I wasn't too old and got in the old line. This is the instant death line.
Now wants you to find a piece of
Sound like he was talking. He just died. He just fell out of nowhere. Oh, da 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 da.
Finally, I get past it and meet my tormentors. The fates actually look pretty rad, but I couldn't appreciate that in the moment. The cries of Valsung will follow me into my grave.
I am son of Sigmund and Sigelinda, the last of the Valsungs. Help me.
Like my sisters, I am a daughter of Erda. Why would I want to help you? We have no need of you to continue our work.
None of them want to be involved in this, which is fair, but a problem.
Stop breaking destinies for a moment, Cutter. You must listen to me.
Deciding when to stop a life is not an easy task. Do not disturb my work.
This seems like an impasse. How do you defeat the fates? It turns out the answer is throwing pocket
Beat
sand
their
at Seeing
ass.
Ice Spider and then introducing it to Nothung.
What did he do? What did he do?
Now that they're blinded, Siegfried finds the thread of his own fate. Where can things go from here?
Did Siegfried manage to fool the Norns?
Oh, yes. But he was not the liar in this story. It was Hagen.
Siegfried in Hagen's hands?
Oh, Hagen. He was there for a second.
Snake. And what
I
happened?
didn't even see that dude.
Siegfried returned to the court of the Gibichungens, and from his finger took the ring that Brunhilde had given to him.
Brunhilde. Hagen hooked up with
Most of
her.
our ending is Ish saying what happened off screen. They'll even introduce a new setting for him to show up and say more things that happened off screen. Siegfried and Brunhilde are now going to marry the wrong people. Uh-oh.
Come closer, warrior. It is I who rule the tides of Yggdrasil and wash the oceans over the edges of the world.
That's not Charlotte.
Erda, whose advice you seek.
Erda?
Oh, I thought you was just a girl.
Erda's a galactic Teletubby or something. Fuck it. Hagen shows up, Siegfried dies.
I was just about
and
to
after
say,
many
oh,
painful
wow.
hours, I've come to the ending. A funeral is held for Siegfried where they reuse his child model to ask who he was, and Brunhilde ends the tale with what else?
Cree for the gods. The end of one world.
More surfing.
The birth of another. Forever.
So he just killed the protagonist, and somebody else just takes his place. She kill herself? What the fuck?
That's it. Fuck it. Who is the TV girl? Who
I
cares?
guess so.
I
Fuck
would love
it.
to know the story behind how Ring was committed, but until then, all I have is madness. Somewhere out there is a diehard Wagner fan who's
I'd
probably
rather
been
not
vomiting
know
over
the
themselves
story.
and screeching by now. The story summary is also useless and mentions a gnome. Is that a dwarf mistranslation, or was there a gnome? It doesn't matter. See, last year a
Wouldn't
lot
you
of people
like
said
to
that
know?
anonymous agony was torture. They couldn't wrap their brain around it and were thinking about it for weeks. Well, this was mine. This is the kind of game that sticks with me in the worst way. Like, sure, Ring 2 was rushed and probably cheaper than the original, but besides what they did to Albrecht's character, is it really that worse than Ring 1? Having played both back-to-back multiple times now, I don't think so.
Why
I
you
think
played
at this
them
point,
multiple
people had woken up more to
times?
how
Well, I guess
awful
he
this
need to
genre
get the
can be at
review.
points, and we're less forgiving.
Make sure
I
he
did find
didn't
Ring 2 to
forget
be a lot more
anything.
playable, doesn't scream for a guide like Ring 1 does, but it never reaches the original's highest highs or its lowest lows. I think about it so much because while it also has rushed out parts, it also means something to somebody. As it is, it feels like hearing it forbidden
It
knowledge
means
I was never meant
something to
understand.
somebody.
If you made it this far, then thank you and congratulations. I don't know how long this video will be up for. So it might need even weirder alterations than I've already done for it to stay up, but it might just disappear. If that
Oh,
happens,
well,
just chalk it up to
I react
Well,
to
happy
it, so
Halloween. I'll see you next
I guess
time
it's
if
gonna
I
stay
survive
up.
to
It's on my
I can only
channel.
hope that one day, the Ring will have a proper conclusion.
Happy Halloween.
Have I seen the news about the new Marathon game? Yes. I've seen people unhappy that it's a Marathon Tarkov instead of a reboot, but I don't know how you reboot Marathon today and keep it for a modern audience. Like, having voice acting for the videos was fun and convenient, but the fact all the characters talk through text and even little things like repeated symbols or formatting can mean a whole lot, I could never see them keeping that aspect as the core of the game. Little blurbs maybe, but not your main storytelling device. For now, I'm just more curious of what they're doing. How are the coyotes? I haven't seen or heard from them since the beginning of the year, I think. They usually come back around this time of year. Favorite Halloween costume I've worn? There was this one year I went trick-or-treating as Buzz Lightyear, and I vaguely remember other kids were crying a lot or something like that. I thought maybe somehow my costume was scary, and it turned out whenever I was turning around I was decking people with my wings. I don't remember what they were made of, but it was a different time. Would I do work?
It was a different time. It was a different time. It was more acceptable back then.
I should clarify this. Developers like getting feedback on the game. Giving feedback on how you think the process should work is almost always a dipshit idea. Let's pretend I'm a commercial airline reviewer. I say, oh, the seats should be bigger and more comfortable, and maybe they should have seat warmers too, and be fancy. The plane should be faster because I've ridden faster planes, and I know how a jet engine works, but I don't know how much power will be drawn or weight added by fancy seats. Fuel efficiency? Can the plane even be wired that way? What will need to be removed?
That's not your job. They need to take what you say and get an engineer to actually do that. Who the fuck modded this in there? Like, you can say that about, like, hey, this plane should have heated seats and all this and that. It's up to them to get an engineer to do that, to figure that shit out. But that was good, man. That was a stroke. Did I fall asleep during that? Because it was like something I was like, and I think I might have fallen asleep, but no, it could be the alcohol as well. But I've been up since like 4 this morning, so but that game made no sense, and I'm glad, like, because I was like what? It's just playing the game. He was like, I don't get it. Like, I know he kept going because he's doing the review. I would have fucking gave up on that like a long time ago. I remember I played a game called Never Dead, and I don't own it anymore. I traded it, but I owned it twice. I bought it once, played it, and then I'm trading it, and then bought it again. So you know what? Let me give it another go. I said maybe it was better than I thought. My brother liked it, and then I played it again. And I was like, nah, this game is. It's like the sword fight I thought was good. The gunplay I thought was okay. But it's a mechanic where your character is immortal, but they can be knocked apart. Like, they can get their head knocked off, or their arms knocked off, legs knocked off, and then you gotta roll around as a leg or torso or arm or head and collect your parts, and then you'll form back together. But it was like monsters around there that would suck in your head, and they like digest you for 1,000 years or some shit. So it was an instant game over, and it was so easy to knock you apart, you know. And it was just annoying, and I ended up like trading the game again. But the place I traded to went out of business because I drove past it the other day. And I was like, oh, they're gone. The business is gone. The sign is gone and everything. So, no going over there trying to get that game. I've seen it for sale, but I'm not getting that again. Plus, I don't even have PlayStation 3 anymore. So, I can't. I think it was on PlayStation 3. Maybe it was on 4. Am I tripping? I think it was on 3. I think it was on 3. But, yeah, this was good. This was pretty good. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed my reaction. One, if you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're here. Hit that bell if you're notified when I upload the videos. Comment down below. Share this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.